Hello, I'm the Reverend Sarah Keane. Around this time of year in West Dorset, from roughly mid-July to mid-September, there are a whole range of country shows going on. Some of these are quite small and specific to their local parish or group of parishes. Here as Christians, we provide an example of what we're doing in the wider community, helping running stalls and selling raffle tickets and all the sorts of things that show that we are truly at the heart and the salt and light in our local area. At the larger shows, which also include the Great Dorset Steam Fair, very specific interest to steam buffs, churches together run larger tents. These are a great example of a group of churches working together to provide a quiet space for people in the hurly-burly of the show to sit out and possibly have a cup of tea, catch up with friends, out of rain or sun, depending on what's going on outside. Often these include stands which show what the local churches are doing. And at some, for instance the church at the Dorset County show, that includes some prayers and even a communion service on the Sunday. I run a programme for the Salisbury Diocese called Rural Hope, which aims to support rural ministry and mission within the Salisbury Diocese. We take these shows very seriously. My favourite, I am slightly biased here because I'm a member of the Melplash Agricultural Society, is the Melplash Show that will be taking place this year on Thursday the 25th of August. It's the first time it's been back in action after a couple of years when it couldn't go ahead because of COVID. Our Rural Hope tent is very focused on giving people a touch of the Christian experience right at the heart of the show. So quite apart from the little tent itself, where you can sit and talk to us, we're also going to have a prayer space. These prayer spaces come with specialised kits that give people a whole range of things that they can do to pray in different ways, or just to spend some time, quiet time in God's presence. The tent will be run by our field officer, rural field officer for this area, the Reverend Margaret Preshyam, who's also house for duty over in Abbotsbury, Portsham and Langton Herring. Margaret has all sorts of hopes for the tent, although the biggest issue is always getting it up in the first place. Fortunately, not only do we have help from other churches, we have help from various parishes within the Church of England. So all sorts of people come and help on the day, including the curate from Bedminster, Fiona, who prior to joining the church ran outward bound camps for teenagers. If there's one person who knows how to put up a tent, it's Fiona. So we've inveigled her into coming along and helping us on the day. But it's lovely because quite apart from Bedminster, we're going to have people there from the Bridport team and for Egerton and Colmers. And certainly any of you who are going to the event, please do come along and find us. We're down in amongst all the merchandise, but we'll have a big sign outside saying who we are. Another part that's very much aligned to all of this, and certainly comes when we come to the Dorset County show in early September, just outside Dorchester. The entrepreneur for all of this is the Reverend Richard Curlew, who until recently has been the rural chaplain for Dorset. Although he's now going to be semi-retired, he is still carrying on working with the people at the livestock markets. But alongside him, various other ministers who are interested in this sort of thing are going to be trained up to act as rural chaplains. So what's different about a rural chaplain? Surely it's just what every minister does. And of course, we all do to a certain extent. But the rural chaplains have a particular ministry to the agricultural community. In fact, Richard Curlew tells tales where on more than one occasion he's had to walk into a barn and take a shotgun off a farmer who'd got to his wits' end and just needed someone to talk to quietly and get him to step away from taking a very tragic step. Our farming community is always under pressure. And needless to say, this scorching heat hasn't helped with either with this year's harvest or with looking after livestock under difficult conditions. But one thing most farmers have is a deep faith rooted in the land. They look at themselves very much as the stewards of God's creation. Exactly what Genesis tells us we should be. And so we, as ministers, take our role seriously in ensuring that they are looked after spiritually. But we all have a role to play in enjoying and making the most of our wider agricultural community. So needless to say, please do come along and see us at the Melplas show or at the Dorset County show. We'll be looking forward to meeting you and talking all things church. For, as Jesus says in Matthew 18:20, for when 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am among them.